Fala, povo, bom dia, encerrando nossos dias aqui em Araxá, mas eu fiz uma série de entrevistas com o Todd Anderson, que é o mecânico-chefe da equipe de mountain bike da SRAM. E ele é um cara que está há 25 anos na frente da parte de equipe técnica deles, então um cara que entende muita coisa, e o catalão da SRAM me concedeu esses momentos de entrevista com ele. Então, separei alguns assuntos. Esse vídeo de agora vai ser sobre a opinião dele, na verdade, e o feedback que os atletas estão tendo sobre o Flight Attendant, que é aquele sistema de inteligência artificial que controla a suspensão da bike, e também um pouquinho falando sobre a experiência deles aqui no Brasil. Então, vinheta, e vocês vão ver esse vídeo agora.
What do you think are the general impressions about the athletes about the flight attendants? What's what they think about the adjust during the race and the automatic switches on the suspension settings and on the flight like that?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you it's impossible to get everybody to agree on one thing.
Yeah, of course.
But most of the athletes, and it's really interesting you bring it up because we had this exact conversation with the Scott team in South Africa. I was with them for their training camp, do some suspension testing, and we actually went around the table. Okay. How do you feel about flight attendant? And with 99% of the riders, it's an absolute positive. Okay. They would not ride without it. Okay. The system, because it's an automatic system, it's working even when the athlete isn't able to do it. So to be honest, I mean, a lot of the athletes at the first lap, they could handle doing it manually.
Okay.
But after the second lap, third lap, fourth lap, when they're really under pressure from the cycling,
they kind of forget to switch.
They forget. That happens a lot of times. They forget to unlock it.
Okay.
But more importantly, say if they have just 10 meters where they would normally lock out, they don't have the energy.
Okay.
And the system always has the energy.
Yeah. Have a lack of oxygen in the brain. And
lack of oxygen, but their hands are blown. Their forearms are so tired. Okay. Their bodies are so exhausted. Their brain is not working the way it normally does. Also, the system, when you have a manual lockout, it locks the front and rear together.
Yeah.
Whereas this system can lock the fork but leave the shock in the pedal position. So if you're doing a climb, you have the good platform to pedal off of, but the shock is also.
And you have some places in between, you could have the front the front suspension like kind of blocked, and then the rear one open, and then
exactly. It operates independently, so it's not, the system doesn't completely lock out every time.
Yeah.
So that's something that you can't do with manual. So, and the first race that we used flight attendant on was in Lenzerheide, and the system changed over 2,000 times during the race. Okay. This isn't an hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah. It would be like, I don't know, one switch in every 3 seconds.
Something along these lines. You have no chance to do this manually. Yeah. So the system is working when you're not able to. The system, it's a game changer.
I'm asking because some athletes like, I would like to make my own decisions or something like that. It's interesting because the system, I'm using it on my bike.
Yes.
And it's interesting because it kind of predicts. For example, you were riding on in a place like this, and then you have like a pothole in the middle of it. So it's completely smooth and everything, and then you have the pothole, and the suspension opens like when you are in that split of seconds.
Yes,
it's really.
And the way it's able to do that is it's reading what gear you're in. It knows the gear you're in from the derailleur. It knows your power. It's reading your power meter. It's reading the terrain. It knows how rough it is.
You change the position on the bike.
Exactly. If you change the position on the bike, the system's like, something's coming up.
Yeah.
So maybe we should go to open. So it's taking in so much information and in the split second making decisions.
Yeah.
you know, it's not going to be 100% correct every time, but in that moment, 99% of the time it is correct. So, you know, some athletes are like, oh, you know, in this one position, I would love for it to be locked out. Well,
It locks.
it either locks in that position or we have the override. So there is also
there's an override.
the override
okay.
system. So the rider can actually override the system.
If you don't
to lock.
agree with the suggestion.
Or say you're coming down a descent and you have a right hand turn and a climb right away, and you want to be locked out in that corner to be locked out in the climb. Boom, hit the override. It works. But then again, you got to remember to kick out of the override.
Okay.
So-
okay. If you leave it on the override,
Yep.
it will be like
Yep.
override.
We have some really cool race only firmware
Okay.
that is only for the racers. So we try to, if the riders have a specific desire.
Okay.
So for example, we have the ability to, when the athlete is in override and they operate the seat post, it'll kick back into automatic.
Okay.
And this is really important for the athlete because then they know.
Sometimes you probably forget about the
Exactly. And they also know that when they drop their seat post, it's not in the middle position, it's fully open. So
Okay.
this was something else that the athletes have brought up, that it's super important for the seat post to kick it out of override.
And there's an artificial
Not at all.
It's okay. And there's an artificial intelligence about the whole system, and it's like it's noticeable how the suspension changes for example, for Nino, the suspension learns that he has that specific type of riding, so it's like presetted. The artificial intelligence learns how to be the suspension presetted for Nino.
Exactly, because
Based on his style of riding and power output.
his style of riding and his power output. So you're absolutely right. The system is always learning from the athlete. It's going through, reading the power, so it knows when the athlete is just riding along. It knows when the athlete is trying to is sprinting.
Okay.
So the system will then, when he's putting out a certain amount of power, he might go to the pedal position or to full lockout.
Okay.
So yes, exactly. The system's always learning. So, and the system from the first ride on is actually learning from the rider.
Okay, so like during a race, you have like a 1 hour race, the system probably will understand
Show her.
how the athlete is.
Sina.
Yeah, Sina Fry. And you have like the system will learn how the athlete is on that day, and it probably can change some settings during the race.
Absolutely. So, you know, beginning of the season, the rider has a different power output than the end of the season. So, for example, the rider could go on the coffee shop ride. It will actually change the numbers, but as soon as you go back on your training ride, it'll be back to where it is.
It will reset.
It's very fast.
suspension.
Here's Trek going out. Little Evie Richards going out on a world championship bike. Quite awesome.
This is awesome. Like to see all those guys.
Yeah.
in the-
Yep. So this is a good race for Evie today. Potential win here. So, yeah. Evie's the world champion on short track, so she's on her world champion bike, world champion colors for short track.
And what are the riders' feedback about the race course here?
They love it.
Yeah, really.
Everybody loves this track. So I've got managers there saying they love it so much they're doing 1-2 extra laps than
Okay.
they normally would, because it's so much fun. It's so technical, but the jumps are designed perfectly. So they have no effort, and it's just pure fun for them.
Yeah, because they have access to a lot of really nice trails in Europe and all that.
Yes.
So if they're enjoying here, it's a really like good sign for us Brazilians.
The track is designed perfectly. The dirt is amazing. It's really a rider's track. It's technical in the ways that they like it. Not too technical to where it's really dangerous, but technical enough to where the more advanced riders can gain a little bit of time, but not in a super dangerous way.
Okay.
So, and that's very important. We want to keep our riders all safe. Every rider out there, we want to have nice and safe.
And having a nice time, right?
And having a fun, they're all finishing with a big smile.
are you guys of like the tech team?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying Brazil?
We love it. I was really happy to be coming back again for the third year in a row. The food down here is amazing. The spectators during the race,
we are kind of crazy.
It's insane, and this brings just an energy, you know, to the riders.
Bom, turma, então, muito legal aí a perspectiva de um cara desse que tem aí 25 anos de experiência com os maiores atletas do mundo. E eu vou passar mais um vídeo dele falando sobre os lançamentos aí da SRAM e fazendo um pouco dos bike checks aí nos bastidores ali da prova. Então, bem legal.